Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at Mortas the Insidious from the Hypogean faction. Now, this hero wears leather-based gear, is part of the support class, and his primary role is to provide a significant amount of buffs for your allies. So let's have a look at his skills. His ultimate skill, Empowerment. Mortis grants the allied target with the highest attack rating 25% of the target's own attack rating, and 25 attack speed points. In addition, he will also provide them with the skill Greed up until the end of battle. Now, Greed is a life leech ability which allows the allied hero to heal themselves up. The level 2 and 3 improve the effectiveness of this ability, where allies are granted 40% of their own attack rating and 40 attack speed points. Now, attack speed increases the hero's ability to essentially attack the opponent more often. This does not reduce the cooldown of their own abilities. So let's have a look at his next skill, Greed. Now, this is the additional effect that the ultimate provides. This is a passive skill that allows for Mortis' normal attacks to steal 4% of the enemy's current health and 10% of their current shield value. Each enemy may only be affected by the skill once every 1.5 seconds. The amount of health stolen from an enemy cannot exceed 220% of Mortis' attack rating. The level 2. Normal attacks now also steal 50 energy points from the enemy, so this is a pretty significant additional buff that Mortis can provide for your allies. Now, the level 3 and 4 once again improves the life leech component. Normal attacks steal 8% of the enemy's current health and 20% of their current shield value. His next ability, Blood Pact. Mortis consumes 10% of his current health to heal the most injured non-summoned ally for 2 times worth the amount of health which was consumed. The level 2, 3, and 30 engravings increase the effectiveness of this heal, where he is able to heal the most injured ally for 4.5 times worth the amount of health which was consumed. His next ability, Devilish Deal. Mortis allows the enemy that has regenerated the highest amount of health to instantly recover 15% of their max health. However, for the following 15 seconds, all health regenerated by the enemy is transferred to Mortis. The level 2, enemy restores 10% of their max health, so this is a decrease of the amount of health that the enemy is able to restore, so it's 15 down to 10. The level 3, the effect duration is increased to 25%. So essentially, this is a pretty significant buff. This essentially allows Mortis to stop the enemy from completely gaining any healing effects from their allies. And the 60 engravings, enemy loses 30 haste points while the effect is occurring. So let's have a look at his signature item, Trickery. When you unlock this ability, when a normal attack deals a critical strike, another enemy is additionally struck. However, the damage dealt is reduced by 70%, and the additional attack does not trigger any effects. So this is the Greed component, where you cannot trigger the life leech and the energy steal from the enemy. The level 10 unlock is essentially reduces the amount of damage dealt by 50% when you're attacking the enemy. The level 20, normal attacks that are buffed by Greed now also have a small area effect. This allows your damage dealers to hit multiple enemies with the same attack. And the level 30, when a normal attack deals a critical strike, another enemy is additionally struck. However, the damage dealt is reduced by 20% and the additional attack does not trigger any effects. So this is the life leech component and the energy leech as well. His furniture, 3 out of 3, Deadly Redemption. When an ally benefiting from the effects of the skill Empowerment, the ultimate skill, dies, Mortis takes back the Empowerment attack rating and attack speed bonuses from them and deals 250% AoE damage from where the ally was standing. This skill may only be used 1 time per battle. Now, the 9 out of 9 simply allows Mortis to use this ability 3 times per battle. So let's have a look at how he does in battle. Now, Mortis over here is not used for his healing capabilities. However, his main purpose is for the buff or the empowerment buff that he provides for his allies. So let's say you have a damage dealer, and in this case, I have a Thalia over here. Now, Mortis will essentially buff the highest attack rating for one of my allies, so the allied hero who has the most attack rating, and that being Athalia over here. And essentially, this will allow Athalia to benefit from the life leech component. In addition, Mortis will essentially give them 40% increased attack rating and 40 attack speed points. So if there's, for example, benefits a carry or a damage dealer such as Athalia or Lucretia or another hero who's extremely normal attack focused, this is a significant buff to these respective heroes. So let's have a look at how it does at a much higher level deficit. Now, Mortis is usually placed in teams where you can stall long enough, or you can build up enough energy or control the enemies long enough such that essentially you'll be able to buff the entire team through Mortis over here. Now, because they affect empowerment loss for the entire duration of battle, he can even be at an elite copy level. And once he provides this buff, he can provide a massive benefit to your allies. So let's have a look at how it does in this specific battle. Now, as we can see over here, he can build up a significant amount of energy, and in some cases he can even build up energy faster than most other supports in the game. So now he's going to ult over here, and he's going to ult on Kren. Now this gives Kren more AoE for his bombs, so essentially Kren can do even more damage, and Kren can heal himself. Now, because Mortis lost such a long time in this specific battle, he'll be able to provide this buff to all of his allies. So there we go. Now Awakened Thane over here has the buff. Now, as we can see, these are two little swords that are orbiting that specific allied hero. There we go. The next hero over here is Zafrael. And he slowly continues to buff his allies one by one with the empowerment skill. So I'm going to speed through this battle. Now, as we can see, because of that one singular buff, Kren was able to do a massive amount of damage to the enemy heroes. And as we can see, in addition to this, Mortis over here was the main healer for the entire allied team. Now, he also works extremely well in another team, being the Alnok Grazul based team, where essentially Mortis is able to continually use his ultimate skill and buff Grazul's minions, allowing him to skyrocket Grazul's damage and one-shot all the enemies. So what is the minimum investment that I would recommend into Mortis? I would recommend getting his 30 out of 30 signature item. The reason for this allows you to gain an additional AoE effect where you can hit multiple targets through the greed effect. And in addition, whenever a allied hero does a critical strike, this strike will additionally be dealt to surrounding enemies. Now, this is a pretty significant buff and essentially allows your allied heroes to even double their damage in battle. Now, his other investment opportunities, such as his furniture over here, is not that impactful on Mortis, as it does not provide a significant buff to him. However, it provides additional survivability for him. However, I do not recommend getting his furniture. The only item of investment is a signature item, and his engravings are not that impactful on him, as they do not provide any significant buffs to him. So I do not recommend getting his engravings for this hero at all.